What's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. I am catching up here. I apologize. None of the graphics are updated from yesterday, so forgive me. But we'll still have a good time, I promise. It is the watch along party for USA versus Canada. Winner goes to the semifinals. Loser goes home. Your history is over. Welcome in, guys. Juan, hey, yeah, I saw your text right as I hit live. I'm like, well, he's gonna find out. I'll text him in a minute. Then I just saw you in here. I was like, oh, sweet. So we will we'll get these graphics updated for the day today. So I know that Costa Rica handled business against Honduras. I know that I believe Mexico got a game winner in the final 2 minutes against Panama, so they'll be top of Group A. Let me just double check here. What's the other game? I think that's it so far today, right? Just those two. Last night, for those of you that didn't stay up afterwards to watch Panama play Guatemala, you didn't miss much. The score was 4-3 at the end of the night, but there's literally about 2 minutes of action where 4 of those goals were scored. And that was all there was in the second half. Very, very slow, very boring game. Guatemala has been really just super disappointing. I don't know that we're going to stay up for the second game tonight between Guatemala and Cuba. I just super unimpressed, and it's just not. It's not going to be an enjoyable viewing experience, I don't think. So let me get these updated. Looks like USA is in white. Canada is in red. Let's try this. I'm trying to wait and see what their score graphic looks like. I think this should be what it looks like, though. I wonder why they it is great. I wonder why they disable the chat for these CONCACAF streams. Does anybody know why? I don't know if they have it marked as like made for kids, which is a YouTube option you can do whenever you post content. But that made for kids barrier is really meant for like stuff targeting children. So cartoons, stuff like Paw Patrol, stuff like that. That's what it's really meant for. So the United States just needs a draw to advance. Canada has to win, I believe. Let me just double check my standings here. Yeah, so Canada must win. So the pressure is going to be really high on the United States because Canada is win or go home. So they're going to be going for broke. So this will be really interesting to see how these teams play. You know, who settles in, who doesn't. We can't have a period of time like we did in that first game where we got to figure the game out because and we had a little bit of problems with that against Costa Rica last night, where we kind of like they made a tactic shift, and then we didn't respond well to it. That looks like crap. Let's do this. I know that Canada is wearing red, but that looks just as good. Okie doke. One down, one to go. There is a a third half podcast for FCS tonight too, guys, in about an hour and a half, hour 15 minutes, introducing a new expansion team. So I believe Luke is going to be helping them with that. So he won't be with us for the stream today. He's going to be helping with that production. There we go. Man, I don't know why, but my Uno overlays. Oh, come on. Ooh. Dangerous there for a moment. That was a hell of a counterattack right there. Oh, wait. I messed this up already. What do you guys think? How about some goal predictions? What's our score predictions today? I know Rogers is 100-0. Additional tariffs if they beat us. Yes. What's up, Rudy? Can someone please remind announcer this is first ever event? The last 5 times, not soccer. Yeah. You know, I was complaining last night in the second game, and I think most of you had taken off after the U.S. game, which, I mean, I don't blame you. I kind of wish I would have too. But I did complain in the second game that the commentator does seem kind of uneducated. I don't know who it is, but they're struggling. Like, there's a lot of moments of silence where he's just not saying anything for minutes at a time. There's just some incorrect things being said about the game or about the teams. Can't think of a specific. I just remember hearing something and going, what? I can't remember specifically what he said that like it perked my attention. But I mean, the thing that kills me is like, you're the commentator, you're the voice of the stream. We really don't have. They have camera. It looks like they have microphones down there, because you can hear them pick up every time there's a missed shot. The board rattling, the ad boards. It picks that up, but it's really not picking up enough game volume to make up the difference for you not like actually commentating. It's just interesting. I'm spoiled on Chris Fernandez though too, so maybe I'm being a little too harsh. But there's also a guy. I think he sounds like he might be from the Caribbean somewhere, and I don't know his name either. But I like him a lot. But he's only done a couple of games so far. All right, I think with this last touch, I have all of our graphics fixed for today. Updated, I should say, for today. Thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. Sorry again, little 1-year-old threw a wrench in my plans, but it's good to be on. Good to be seeing what's going on. Wait, Kirsten, jeez Louise. I know, yeah, these little monsters. Interesting. A little different lineup here than we're used to seeing. Looks like Coach Barato's mixing it up a little bit. Or no, is this just the second line already? Maybe this is just the second line already. Ooh, Canada with the first goal. Wow. Good play. Janae Braun was out the last 2 years. Oh, interesting. Man, got caught out on that counter. I think that's the first time the U.S. has trailed all tournament. Is right now. This Canada side is going to be very difficult to beat tonight. Tons of time left. No reason to panic. Oosh. Yep, that's right. Oh, just showed up and we go down one. Yep, that's right. Yeah, here, Luke. Bye, Luke. No, stay. Maybe you're good luck. Maybe you're a gold charm and you just came while Canada had the ball. And now that US has the ball, now we'll score because you're here. Possibly. Maybe. Man. Canada just looks way more confident so far to start this game. They know what they need to do. They got a job to do tonight for sure. They gotta win. They gotta win or they don't advance. Easy one out there at least. That's good. Get some good play out of the back here. Some good rotation. Man, he's still referencing the outdoor game. That's kind of crazy. Hey, Luke, we're glad you're here. Even if it's just in the chat. Is USA experiencing fatigue? Perhaps. I mean, they don't look very sharp coming out so far in this one, but they were slow to start the Honduras match, too. You call it a field or a court? Oh, a court. It's got to be called a court. That's my opinion. Yeah, I don't call it a field. I mean, you would think whatever fatigue the U.S. is feeling, Canada is too. Although they kind of have a similar situation that Costa Rica had with the U.S. yesterday. Like, if you really want to count every minute of a break in between games, they did have one of the earlier matches. They had one of the earlier matches yesterday against a weak Honduras side, whereas U.S. was in a meat grinder with Costa Rica just 24 hours ago. So, oh, come on. Oh, snuck it in. Paige Pearson. How did she slot that through? Goodness sakes. Oh, man. Is this going to be a shootout? 5-2 is my prediction. USA. You know what? 5-3. 5-3. Let's call it 5-3. I think we win by 2. I got faith in the girls. The women. Whatever is right to say. All right, y'all. What do you think? Wait, what do you think this score is going to be? I want to see them. Don't worry, we don't bet real money here. Another reason we might need to start multi-streaming, I think, Luke. We got to get those chat points in Twitch up for bid. Them. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's the safest thing right now. So I think if we win, we should have the goal differential if we win, which would put us in first and Costa Rica in second, which means we would face Panama. Ooh, good effort from Canada there. But if we draw, then we would face Mexico. Ooh. Sorry, guys. My dad was calling. All right. Yeah, so United States has 3 options coming out of this game. Either they win and they face Panama, either they draw and they face Mexico, or they lose and they come home early. So hopefully, I mean, ideally, I think U.S. can, and I believe U.S. can win this game. But they've got to be sharp beginning to end because Canada is fighting for their lives. So they're going to have nothing to lose. They're going to throw everything at us. That's for sure. And then if they make the semifinals, there's, ooh, man, Canada really knocking on the door here. If we make the semifinals, we should, in theory, be through. Like, I cannot picture a scenario where the USA loses to either Mexico or Panama. Neither of those teams look nearly as good as any of the teams in Group B, other than Honduras, of course. You guys hear the hounds up there? What were those hounds from Christmas Story? That's what my house is like. Which I guess is fitting because that film was filmed. That movie was filmed in Cleveland, so not too far from me. Hounds of Doom, more like Hounds of Dunce in my house. A couple of nitwits. I have black labs. They're not exactly known for their intelligence. Not exactly how they describe that breed. And that back post has been open a couple times now. We got to mind that shape. You're right. You're right, Rudy. Everything goes in a lab's mouth. Stomachs of iron. Nothing bothers them. Smart pull down there. That looked like it might have been going in. been moments of chaos in front of the Canada goal, but nothing super convincing from us just yet. Giving the edge to Canada right now. Several long balls in a row from them, too. I wonder if they were watching the tape from last night, because our coach called an early timeout to kind of correct that with the girls, and their positioning was Costa Rica was going over the top as well. And he called that out and said, hey, the only way they score on us is if we let them go over the top. So looks like similar concerns here so far. Ooh, like the idea. U.S. looking sloppy. Yeah, a little bit. They look a little cagey. Sidali and Kirsten in together. Yeah, you know, we didn't see that at all yesterday, which surprised me, because they connected very well against Honduras a couple of times. Rudy. Our passes are missing more than a child on a milk carton. You're right. It's been a little sloppy with the passes. It's a great quote. Would love to see a little more action here from US. Good turn by Henderson there, but just not quite enough. Seeing this reminds me of something. We missed Dushan. Yeah. Yeah. He was good. Very good. Ooh, bad giveaway there. Ooh, nearly a goal. Wow. I think we got lucky on that one, guys. Yeah, off the crossbar. Wow. Looks like we had it covered, though. Looks like Keep had it covered pretty well. Otherwise. We'll move. Do more with it now. Come on. High press. Yeah, I noticed that too. We're just getting pushed further and further back into our onto our own touch line. I think this isn't a foul, right? I was gonna say it's kind of a strong whistle for a kick in. Making me nervous there. Is that 4 seconds? Oh, player down. We're not checking in once a player runs out. Yeah, you know, I've noticed one that even with a few of our passes, even closer to half court as well, that there's just kind of like passing and then standing there admiring the pass a little bit, which kind of makes me wonder about that fatigue question that Luke had earlier. You know, are we feeling slow? 8.5 to go. Another long ball over the top. There's a good cut from Henderson. Oh, so close. It's not a corner kick. There we didn't see anything she liked. We gave it right back. Jeez Louise. Well, goalie throw competition here. Look at this. Good try. Okay. Looks like US is back on the ball. Ooh. And we need to come up with a little something special here. I just need to hit it. Yeah, sure enough. I think we're definitely going to want to find some momentum here. Because right now I'm giving the edge to Canada. What in the world? 6:50 to go. Let's see some action, guys. And Carly Banks has been good for us so far this tournament, I think. Definitely been a bright spot through everything going on. Giving that one to the US. I'm kind of surprised by that. I hope they mic up Barato on this. Yes, they aren't. Can't quite hear him. looked at him and said, "You cannot complete a simple pass. I cannot help you." Yeah, when someone like that has so much to offer, you know, you got to be able to get those fundamentals down if you have any hope of retaining anything else he shows you. Numbers, numbers. Come on, guys. Man. Did not take advantage of the counter there very well. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. Hesitation is killing us. Yeah, Juan, I agree. Like, it's that happened in Costa Rica match yesterday too, where we just held onto the ball way too long. That second half, a lot of our ailments would have been solved had we just played a little more confidently and given up the ball just a little bit sooner. This Henderson, she likes to keep the ball. She keeps it till the final minute, final second, and then tries to dump it off. Want to get their own goals. Yeah, they're not playing like a team very well right now. Like, that's the thing about futsal is there's these moments where you get to have that individual flair and brilliance. I mean, what Falcao is so famous for it. Ricardinho is so famous for his individual moments. But the game is a team game, and it happens way too fast speed-wise, and it happens in a very harsh way too, you know, as far as physicality sometimes. So, wow. That you can't afford to do that. Major, so yeah, I mean, there's a place for the individualism, and but like a run of play like that is not the time. Just get the goal. Just get ahead. You know, we saw what happened yesterday when we sat on a 2-goal lead and didn't keep that urgency. We lost the lead and we gave away a draw. Otherwise, today would probably be a much easier game for us as far as pressure is concerned. External pressure. Look at this. Great ball by Canada. Good save from Goodrich. Futsal seen a game to be creative and show individual skill. No other American sport does that. All others are about winning. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, as amazing of a career as LeBron James has had, everyone talks about the people around him and how he's won championships, and it's because there's a team, and the end game is winning. Like, he's criticized even at 40 years old for, you know, not making out of that last round of that first round of the tournament there in the NBA. It's all about winning. And I think futsal has a unique approach in the sense that you can see that individualism within the game, but winning is still the most important goal. Like, you get both, which is awesome. White chocolate. Seems like all of US's opportunities have been on counterattacks. Nothing's been through build-up, run and play. A big difference in quality of team when you see that kind of stuff. Let's see. Just under 4. US body language is not good. Wow, great goal. Great goal. What a little play by Canada there. That was beautiful. This is another thing that's happening a lot is we're overcommitting running to push them outside and they're cutting inside and we're giving them open looks in the middle. Yeah, I thought that was pretty clearly a back heel. I don't know how the commentator thought that was a deflection, but gotta stay calm. But definitely need to up the game a little bit here. Get back to what we were doing well. I mean, look at this. Jeez. US just coming undone in this game in a big way. Can he make 3 consecutive passes? Yeah. I mean, that scoop was a kind of unnecessary in the first place, and then you scoop it out of bounds. You got to get the commentary too. He's glazing these players, man. Either we advance or big time rant on futsal news coming. Yeah, that's probably very true. Although I will say this, I'll go ahead and just say it. It's on record in front of all y'all. I will say Barato's tactics have been way better than watching Everton in the men's team. I will say that. He deserves credit for that. We actually see some futsal rotations when we're playing well. Set pieces have kind of been our thing, so hopefully this corner creates something special. Okay, I'll shut up. All right. Sorry. Still a lot of time in this one. Assistant for specifically set prices. Gonna need about 350. Anyone? Am I the only degenerate here? It's all right. Sorry if I am. How about 250? Yes, thank you. Yes. All right, Luke, see you later. Good luck with the podcast, man. For those of you who don't know, third half podcast is going on tonight. Henderson got a little lucky. Wow. Henderson got a little lucky there. No names on the Canada jerseys. Yeah, I guess that's, what are they doing? Reusing those later or something? All right. This is a dangerous place. Let's see something special. Yeesh, what was that? And then they took Henderson off for the set piece, and she's had the strongest shot of anybody on this team so far as speed is concerned. Oh, yikes. US playing very panicked right now. I don't like ye. We don't put names on our jerseys so players play for the team. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's about the name on the front, not the name on the back, right? What movie is that from? It's from a big football movie, and I can't remember the name of it. Pass the line and lay off the player blocking the wall. Miracle? Maybe. Yes, yes. You're right, Rudy. It is Miracle. Because it's when they're, I think it's when they're, when he's got them running suicides on the ice after a win because he didn't like their attitude. And then finally that player says their name and where they're from. Play for USA. And then he lets them go to the locker room after they all puke. I think it's in Remember the Titans too. I think you guys are right. I think it's both. For some reason, I remember that in Remember the Titans, but definitely Miracle too. Man, oh man. Phew. Canada goalkeeper has Jeremy clip both sides. Some tree trunks there in goal, huh? Oh my gosh. Man, I wish we'd play out of the back a little bit and build up a play. I know there's less than 10, but we are not beating Canada in the air. And when we are, the ball is way too far ahead to do anything with it. All right, halftime. Halftime. Hmm. Man, I would love to see a change in tactic here at halftime. Everyone needs to calm down a little bit. When we were playing well against Costa Rica yesterday, we were actually passing well and rotational play. People late, they need to get in front of the fixo. Our center slot pass is not arriving. Yeah, ideally, if you're going to run all the way to a corner, once it's not there, it's time to check back to the middle. And instead, we're kind of just giving it away, not chasing it down. Interesting. All right, guys. I'm going to grab a quick refresh on the drink. Very light snack, and then I will be back. Just a few minutes here. Be right back. All right, guys, I am back. Sorry for the absence. I hope you enjoyed the chair stream. We specialize in chair streams here. My 3-year-old is home, so I had to chat with her for a second. And I was informed that my wife is always right. So, good thing she was here to tell me that. I don't know what I would have done. Gotta be careful with kids, right? Those of you with kids in the room, you know, get some very honest feedback from those little stinkers. She's doing this class at the YMCA, and they're teaching them sport. So the first 2 weeks is soccer. So tonight was the second week of soccer. And then next week they start basketball, which I can't wait to see that. That's going to be interesting. And you know, we always tell the girl, you know, if she's good, you know, this is kind of her special night out for sports. We tell her if she's good, she gets ice cream. So she got ice cream, and I was teasing about not getting any. And we had a little back and forth. And there's a running joke in the house that I don't like ice cream, even though I do. So my daughter reminded me, no, you don't like that. Mom's right. You're wrong. Okay. Yep. With reward talk. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true. I'm letting it go. That's funny. Thursday's our special night. So last week I went and watched, and, you know, watched her shoot on a little bow net from, you know, 15 feet away or 10 feet away or whatever it was. More importantly, watching her learn how lines work. Stuff like that. Listening to somebody else in the room that isn't your parent. So there's hope for her. She's doing pretty good. Well, it's 2-1 at halftime. Canada's winning over the United States. And if this stands, then U.S. goes home. And I think I will berate his parenting choices another day. You know, I wish I could blame my wife too, and be like, oh, you know, that was my wife's idea to do that. But it was 100% my idea. And it was because I wanted ice cream. So, so childish motivators creating childish results. But the reason they make fun of me about the not liking ice cream thing is there's a gelato place in our town, and I prefer gelato over ice cream. So it's turned into like me being bougie for liking gelato and, you know, not liking ice cream and this whole thing. So, you know, my kids get food whenever because 90% of the time I want it to. Yeah, I feel that. My 1-year-old right now, she is a little Hoover vacuum at the moment. She just is constantly eating, and I am fearful of when she becomes a teenager. I'll have to get a second job just to keep food in the house. In her little 1-year-old voice, she does sign language for more. And I don't know why, but she puts a little flair on the word when she says it. She goes, Maury? Maury? Like, oh, I can't say no to that. Come on. Yes, you can have more. And give a couple of those to me. Little dad tax. My first daughter got to a point where she would yell dad tax and hand me a couple pieces of whatever I made her. So had her trained pretty good there for a minute. Didn't last, but it was fun while it lasted. Whoops. What do you guys think? What do you think's gonna happen in this second half? I'm concerned about my prediction of 5-3 at this point. But who knows? It could be a wild second half because everybody's going to be playing like crazy. Jenny has a husband tax. I'd take her food too. No kidding. Hey. Sticking up for guys everywhere that are losing their french fries from their ladies. Yeah, you know, Juan, you'll definitely appreciate this. When we do get ice cream, I purposely get flavors I know no one else likes, so I don't have to share. They're not even my favorite. I just know I'll get all of it, you know? So my wife doesn't like mint flavored ice cream at all. So I always get mint chocolate chip, or I'll get like something that's banana flavored. She doesn't like banana flavored stuff. She likes bananas, but not anything banana flavored. So, you know, usually mint chocolate chip, which is one of my favorites anyway. Very safe ice cream choice for me anywhere we go. But my older daughter, she's a big, actually my 1-year-old too. We gave her a little bit of ice cream the other day, and I gave her a little bit of mine, and they both like mint. So I gotta find something else. I gotta find a new favorite. Otherwise, I'm not seeing any of this. I'm just holding a cone. Ooh, really? Oh, I'm a big pumpkin pie guy. I like pumpkin pie. We're a big pumpkin pie house over here. Me and Molly both. One year for my birthday, my best friend's wife made me a, hey, Grand Rapids Olay, what's up? FCS champs in the house. Let's go. Yeah, Birmingham Futsal pumpkin pie slaps. So good. So delicious. And one time, my best friend's wife made me a lemon meringue pie for my birthday, and I'm a big fan of that too. And then it was homemade. It was like properly homemade, and me and my dad almost threw down over that pie. He was, you know, he's like, "Hey, you need to, you know, you need to give me a slice of that." And I'm like, "I'm not giving you a slice of that." He goes, I'm your father. You're gonna give me a slice of that." I'm like, we should, like, look, I know you used to wrestle, but I'll fight over this pie. Fabian, good to see you. Thanks for joining the stream. Hopefully we see hopefully whatever there was for a halftime talk hits hard and fast here for the US team. They gotta dig themselves out of this 1-goal hole real quick, and hopefully they don't look back and they keep scoring a few extra. I wonder if we see the goalie switch at halftime again. I want more fouls. Actually, you know, Rudy, that's kind of a good point. I don't think there was much for fouls in that first half. All right, come on. One lonely US fan. That's sad. Daniel Matos, I think it is one. I think it's Daniel, and then Sasha, I think is the other guy's name. He's been on like the last 3 cycles of coaches. I remember when he played with FFA. Yeah, one. I remember the FFA making a post about it when they announced that he was going to be on the staff. Oh man, this commentator. I wish somebody would have given him some notes. Like it's kind of crazy. Are US out if they lose? Roger, yes, they are. They must win or tie. But if they lose, they're done. And Canada goes through. So Canada must win. They cannot tie or lose. But US just needs any amount of points. A draw gives them second place, and they'll face Mexico. And a win will give them first place in the group, and they'll face Panama. Ooh. Hmm. Holy smokes. Same goalkeeper. Yeah, same goalkeeper. Man, it's curious. I have some friends up in Canada, and I know they were a little disappointed in their coaching selection because the guy has like no futsal experience, but they're putting up a hell of a tournament so far, even if that's the case. Here we go. Counter. Man, we just can't seem to figure that out. Hmm. Oh my goodness. What is the league structure there? So Birmingham, I think it's by province. So Quebec has their own, and I think 5 of the players on this squad all come from a singular Montreal team. And I know there's a league in around Toronto. I don't know if there's any other ones in Ontario. I've seen on YouTube where there's an Edmonton futsal league that plays. So I'm assuming the other provinces have something too. there was just a futsal championship cup where they bring the best teams in to a singular location and basically do like their own version of an open cup with the best teams from every province. And I believe everyone is represented, if I remember right. But usually Montreal, the Montreal teams tend to clean that up. They seem to be the strongest of anybody at the moment. We are 0-5 on long passes. Haven't seen a 1v1 like all game. Yeah, there's just been some like really bizarre. I don't know. This is not the same team that we watched the last 2 nights. And I said in that first game that when you're facing Honduras, that team was not a good measuring stick for what the US was going to be. And last night was not a great result for us, but I don't think we played horribly. But this has been tough. A little harder strung on this one. More consistent than here? Yeah. I think maybe. I don't know it like really well, Birmingham, but it feels like from the conversations I've had and what I have seen that they're a little more together. I don't know if their quality is necessarily entirely better, but they might be like maybe a quarter of a step ahead of the US at the moment. But they don't have any youth leagues down there. Or up there, I should say. They don't have any youth leagues up there. So I've seen where Montreal referees have come down for USYF tournaments in the Midwest to get more minutes and to referee youth games because they don't have the opportunity to referee youth games where they're at, which is kind of wild to think about. I was actually going to see if Chris could help me connect with some Canadian teams and see if they'd want to come down for any of our tours. I think that'd be kind of cool. Bigger in schools there. Yeah, it seems like there's definitely, especially around Toronto, where they're kind of a really big melting pot, where their universities, especially, it seems really big. Not very convincing so far. Not very many offensive opportunities so far for the commentator just said that too. Really no offensive opportunities for the US. Ooh. Wait, what? What happened? Oh, bad sub. Jeez, we can't even sub. What are we doing? Man. I thought this was also a kick for the other team, but maybe not. I think it's just a card. And I don't think it counts towards the foul count, if I remember right. It's weird that I don't know that. But now that I have to say it out loud, I'm getting nervous about what I think I know. Pass it. Oh, first shot of the half at least. Indirect kick. Oh, no kidding. Oh. Got away with one there. I wonder if because it was a dead ball. Is it because it was a dead ball that it wasn't indirect? Do you guys know? Oh my goodness. Because they're soccer refs too. You know, that's something that I see a lot. At the USYF regionals in Akron this year, I was really disappointed in the referee turnout. We had a couple young guys that they were good because they could keep up with the play, and luckily they were smart guys. But they learned the rules really quick. But 2 weeks prior to that, they didn't even have any kind of futsal refereeing certificate or anything. They never reffed a single futsal game, and they're doing a regional tournament, and that's their experience. I was just kind of disappointed that the referee assigner they told me the referee assigner called him like a week before the tournament and said, "Hey, I'm desperate for guys. Just fill out this, take this class so I can assign you for futsal." It's crazy. That shouldn't happen. Jeez, this is tough. Goodrich is right on that one. They got to get back. Another failed long ball. I think we need to change the strategy here. More worried about playing a program than just playing. They definitely don't look particularly confident in what they're doing. Time is clicking away for the U.S. It's your chance to do something special. Don't. Move up. Man. What is... Good save. Experience? Good question. Yeah, I mean, the program has been around. That's the thing that drives me nuts. Like mentioning just being in high pressure games, you know, the team's been around for what, 2 years now, 2.5 years, and they didn't see any competitive play until a month ago. Big counter from Canada here. Wow, 3-1. Yikes. Smart decision by the goal scorer there. Seeing Goodrich diving down already, getting low. All right, my score prediction could technically still happen, but we need 4 unanswered goals. Henderson would have kept the ball. She's been a perplexing one for me. She had 2 really good goals against Honduras, and they were absolute rocket ships. I mean, they were traveling at high rates of speed, but she's definitely an individual player. Several corners here in the last couple minutes, but we just can't seem to put anything convincing on. Huh. Another corner kick. Where's Satali been in this game, by the way? We haven't seen much of her in the second half. I feel like she didn't play a ton in the first half either. Or am I going crazy? Ole Chet thinks she might be hurt. Oh, really? Oh, I hope not. Why aren't they chatting here? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Man, Canada's looking way better than us right now. We've not seen a ton of Kirsten either. They're shy. Oh, yeah, I know those guys. Yeah, they're real shy. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, real shy bunch, those Olay guys. Really hard to talk to. Super introverted. Head kicking. Jeez. Henderson's turning over the ball even when she's unmarked. Some might say it's... Yeah, tons of unforced errors, Rudy. You're absolutely right. Well, we're almost halfway through. Down 2 goals now. Come on. Jeez, Louise. Let's see something. If this stays the way it is, I wonder when we see a fly goalie. Great pass. Oh my gosh. Why? There's another unforced error. Sheesh. It's kind of crazy. Mm. Yeah, super predictable. And playing it long hasn't worked since the first half. You know, when we played Costa Rica, they were playing it long over the top. And I gave Barato credit because in the timeout when they had him mic'd up, you could hear him saying, like, hey, this is the only way they're finding to score on us. We need to kill this. And they did. But then when Costa Rica adjusted their game, we never really did. We didn't counter their counter and strategy change. And that's ultimately, I think, what led to it being a draw. And this game has been little one-dimensional. Man. Birmingham futsal. I bet when I don't know if Sporting is following since one of the reserve players happened to be in a couple of the camps, but I wonder if they're really glad they didn't do PFL back in the day, realizing how far away we are from where they are as far as understanding the game, talent, strategy, the amount of burden that those clubs that were going to come here for PFL would have had to carry financially and from a human capital perspective would have been insane. They are watching? Oh boy. This is tough. Please. Oh. All right. That was something. What? Wow. Lucky that you lucky that the United States got a freebie back on that one with the bad kick in. That could have been dangerous. Whoosh. Yeah. I felt the wind on that from here in Ohio. I'm going to end up with another live stream tornado warning like we had the other night. Look, Canada knows, like, look, they don't need the pressure. They don't need to overcommit. They're just hanging out. Poor showing. Yeah, for sure. For sure, poor showing. Definitely one of the other uglier games we've seen. Why not pass and move? Why not pass and move instead of holding that ball until the defense collapses and takes away your passing lanes? And then shoot. Like, the passing lanes go away, the shot opportunity goes away because now they're here instead of here, and you try to shoot through the crowd. I don't understand that. I'd bring the fifth attacker if there's low pressing by 5 minutes left. Yeah, pass and move. I mean, it's... Oh, somehow that's ours. I feel like the lineup's a little stale. The strategy's a little stale. Why haven't we seen a timeout yet to try and fix this? 6:20 to go. Jeez Louise. Losing my mind a little bit on this one. Like this. Touch it to the... Oh, soccer touch. Come on. Roll that ball to the middle and rip. Or pass it back, yeah. Watch. That was finally some better movement, but... Oh my gosh. That's the most alive we've looked here recently, but... here comes the flying keeper. Almost at 5 minutes, like you said, Rudy. 5:20. All hog time. Just bought my plane ticket. Oh, were you heading down for the CONCACAF? Okay. If Fabian's still in the chat and I say this wrong, I'm going to be really embarrassed. But when you have a fifth attacker and you essentially have those two players on either end of the post, when the ball's on the opposite side of the court from you, you're supposed to crash that post, right? And be ready for that tap in. And then when it switches to your side, you step back out and you support down the line, and your opposite comes in. Runner in the middle and occupy posts. Yeah, that's how Costa Rica scored and tied the game yesterday. They threw out a fifth attacker and got instant results because they kind of, well, not quite instant, but I mean, they did that. They had a runner through the middle, and I remember saying it as it was happening, like that back post is open, and sure enough, they split our diamond right down the middle because it wasn't tight enough and poked it in back post. Block dribble and switch ball. Yeah, I've seen that before too. It just seems like that's what the strategy's meant to be, the way that they're rotating the ball across these back three, but wow. Ay caramba. No way. No way they're letting this much time go off the clock. Wow. Fatigue absolutely setting in. Yeah, it seems like they just don't have the extra bit of juice. It's a good deflection, at least. At least it wasn't them not getting there in time, but just the middle, poke it. Oh, goodness sakes. Really confused. I would never have expected fatigue to be the issue. I kind of thought, I don't know if I ever said this like actually publicly or not, like to where someone can check my receipts or anything, but it might have been a conversation with Luke or maybe even Jeremy where I thought that just like the athleticism from, sports being so well, not, I would say fairly advanced in the United States compared to everywhere else, would help carry some of maybe the lack of futsal knowledge or, you know, whatever else we might be up against otherwise. But, you know, seeing them not put the effort in like this is not really what I expected. Like, it's just slow. It's lethargic. I mean, you need to have a sense of urgency right now. Your tournament's almost over. You got 2.5 minutes and your tournament could be over. And these guys are playing like they're still in the first half. They're just chilled out. Now it's hands-on faces, looking up at the lights instead of focusing on the game, too. More overwhelmed? Yeah, I could see that. Confused? Yeah. We saw a lot of that in the men's World Cup. Like, they'd throw a fifth attacker out, and everybody would look super uncomfortable, like they hadn't practiced it enough to know what to do. Do the big switch there. Great kick save. Great shot. Sides need to get deeper. Yeah. Thanks, putting a little afterburners on there to get up there. Look, look, switch. Hit it again. Ugh. Oh. I bet we see a lot of that from Canada now too with these balls from the keeper. Is we'll probably see a lot of high long balls to burn that clock out. Would not be surprised if that's every distribution for Canada from here on out. Just burn that clock with the ball up in the air. Not doing any harm up there. Touching. Can't believe we've left the line in this long too. It's not succeeding and we're just like trying to force it to work. Man, well, a lot to talk about. That's for sure. A lot to talk about in the US about futsal. Look at this. Won't even get the shot off in time, I don't think. 5 seconds. That's it. Canada is going on. Wow. I cannot believe that. I knew Canada would be tough. I did not think that the US wouldn't be able to take care of business. That is a Well, there's no two ways about it. That's a failure. That's an absolute failure by the United States that they weren't able to figure that out. I mean, fact of the matter of this, all these ladies will return to soccer after this event. Yeah, that's the other thing is, that's what my big beef was with the men's team, is you bring all these arena soccer players and like they don't lose out. Like they benefit. I'm not saying this is what the women are doing, but it's my perception of the men's team with so many arena soccer players and seeing what they do when they get home. Like they advertise themselves as making the national team when they get home. So their personal brand benefits from people who don't understand that they were on a failed futsal team, not on a national outdoor team. And so they go out and they do camps, and they go out and do these summer camps, or they go out and they, build their personal brand to build up for their future. And it's all fake. Like they're not good. They're not good at futsal. And I think you're right, Birmingham. What I'm giving is an extreme example, but these players are going to go back to, I think one of them's in Old Dominion. I think a couple of other of them are going back to their colleges. There's a few true futsalers in this squad, which I was really excited about. You think about the two Grand Rapids girls, and you think about that goalie from Safira, classically trained in futsal. But, I mean, and then I think Tran, too, plays for Legends in San Jose, which is a decent club. But for the most part, like nothing changes after this. Bummer. Huge bummer. I hope Satali's okay. Kind of concerned that we didn't see much playtime from her in the second half. Everyone keep an eye on FCS's women's division next year, because some of these girls will actually be practicing futsal when they get home. There needs to be big change. Ferreira plays for Safira too. Oh, that's right. You're right. I forgot. That's right, one. Man. The only offense we put in, the only goal we had of the game was kind of a sloppy putback that was, I give them credit for slotting that narrow lane there to make it happen, but it was a little bit lucky more than anything. Wow. Unbelievable. Well, guys, that stinks. I don't know what else to say. I actually don't know what else to say about it. So, what happens from here is the question. Like, does US do what they normally do and just swap out a coach and say they fixed it and do this? It's too much work to hold the right people accountable. So it'll be curious. Curious to see. Like, you'd have to systematically break down everything that is youth soccer and youth futsal right now to fix the problem, and I don't think anybody's willing to do that. I think too many people are afraid to do that. You know what? I mean, not to toot our own horn from FCS, but I will say, like, that's why this futures program is so important to us, that it's successful. And unfortunately, it'll just be in Michigan to start. But so it's a small start. But like, to actually hold standards and give kids an opportunity to play real futsal on a real size court earlier. Not afraid of the work, but afraid to lose money. I don't know, Juan. I think it might be both. I think it might be both.
one thing I've learned since I've taken this position with FCS, there's a lot of people out there that say that they want change or that they're so glad that we're doing what we're doing, and but they don't want to put the effort in themselves to make any of that change. Like when I reach out to somebody while we're setting up these tours, and they feed me a line of conversation about how they want to do all these things to change futsal, and they want to do all these things to own futsal in their neighborhoods. And then I go to them with a tour opportunity, and they don't even want to help book a venue, or they don't even want to get their hands dirty on carrying some of the weight in places where we're not at and we need help. And it's like, okay, well, you just proved you're not as bought in as you claim you are. So it's interesting what these tours have done as far as educating me personally on who the real players are and who aren't in American futsal. And I think we know who the real ones are because they're in this chat. But it's just kind of crazy that we like the bar is just for so long been set so low. I think Fabian's quote when he was talking about juniors in an interview about like how we would never allow for an 11v11 side to get stuck playing on a 9v9 field, and those kinds of things that we just let go. There needs to be some big change, and hopefully this helps do it, but that's going to be a long road. That's a long game, and how do you fix it in the short term? Hopefully it's not 4 years before we see another U.S. women's team. That's a good point, Fabian, because we've not seen the men at all while we focus on the women. So now what? Do we, with us sharing a budget with the rest of the extended national teams, do we see whoever's just up next in tournaments get the money? Or do we actually support a team and build it right and have proper camps for an extended period of time so that we have a chance to actually be prepared for something like this? Is going to be interesting. I mean, I think that was it 2 years, right? That we had a women's coach, and we didn't play a single competitive match against anyone. We just did camps. It's actually just kind of crazy when you start thinking about some of this stuff, that it's permissible. Players in pool are futsal players who play soccer, then play soccer. Yeah. Passion is providing players opportunity to play the game they love. Yeah, and so many people are falling in love with futsal too. That's a thing. Very disappointing and huge potential here in the game. Yeah, for sure. 100%. I would love to see more build up. It's wild to me how many people I run into that it's just like a fear of the unknown or something. I don't know why it's the way it is. It doesn't make sense to me, but there's so many people that claim they're advocates for the sport, and when it gets right down to it, they're not. They do what makes them a quick buck and don't really own it. And well, wow, that's a really disappointing night. And definitely not what I saw coming. I thought that we would see a little more offensive power from the United States. I mean, I guess in hindsight, we scored twice against Costa Rica, so it's not like we were lighting the world on fire against the tougher opponents. But that 7-0 against Honduras, I thought we looked good in that game, even though obviously not as good of competition, so that needs to be noted. But we definitely looked a little more confident in that match from start to finish, and so I was hoping that maybe we'd see that again in this next match. But yeah, I'm a little shocked that we couldn't even get a proper goal in the second half. I was a little surprised at the lack of creativity. Pumpkin pie from Jake. Oh, yeah, there you go. It's a good prize. That's a good prize. You know my line, Juan. That's a potentially valuable prize coming your way. Only potentially valuable. It might be useless. It might end up being bragging rights. It might be something cool. We don't know. old boss of mine, every time we were in a group doing any kind of group exercise, that was always the incentive to get somebody to, volunteer to answer questions and do stuff is, oh, you could win a potentially valuable prize. There was no prize. There was never a prize. And that's where potentially comes in. All right, guys. So after last night's stream, I realized, is this worse than the men? Oh, that's a tough question. I think it's more disappointing than the men, because the men, when we watched the men's team, they didn't look good ever at any point. Like, even when they won against Trinidad in the first game, they did not look good. They just were just more athletically gifted than Trinidad, and that's why they won the game. But they didn't actually play good futsal. They didn't actually look convincing that they would do anything else during the tournament. And that I do have receipts on. I did say that in one of the watch parties. But the women, I thought for sure, I think another reason it might be disappointing too, Birmingham futsal, is that we had those 3 games last month against Costa Rica, and we played really well at Costa Rica in their own country, in their facility, won twice, draw once. And so when you hear that, and you know that Costa Rica is a country in CONCACAF that actually takes care of futsal a little bit and has a lot of levels to it, as far as professionalism to amateurism, having a women's league that's been around for a little while now, you would think like, oh, okay, well, we're keeping up with one of the actual real futsal countries, so that's got to be a good sign, right? But I was always afraid of that result. Like, were they just testing out? Did they use those 3 games to test out formations and plans and not care about the score line? Did they just not care what the score line was? Very possible. And after watching Costa Rica in the tournament so far, I think that was probably the case. They were probably maybe testing out new people or maybe fringe players, and just kind of used it clearly experimentally, because the U.S., did not look super convincing in that match yesterday either. And then this one was just brutal. I don't know. I think that this is probably more disappointing of a result than the men's result, just because it was very clear from the very beginning that the men were going to fail, to me. And I'm Nostradamus, not Nostradamus, and even I figured that out. But this I would have never expected. Definitely wouldn't have expected this. But all I can say is yikes. This is just wild. Well, the schedule for the rest of the tournament is Guatemala faces Cuba next at 10, so in a little over an hour. Both those teams are already eliminated. So between me feeling a little bitter about the U.S. loss and that game being that game's going to be boring. The 2 other live stream watch-alongs we did watching Guatemala were really underwhelming in a big way, and I kind of regretted just not spending that time elsewhere. So I am not going to continue the watch party tonight for that last game. And the semifinal is on Saturday. So that'll be Mexico versus Canada now. And then it'll be Panama versus Costa Rica. I think that Costa Rica and Canada are going to face each other in the final. That's really what I think. I think those are the 2 teams, both the winner and runner-up from Group B. That's my prediction. I think that the Group B teams are the ones that go to the World Cup. I think they're the ones that qualify for the Philippines in November. Mexico went 3-0. I watched all 3 of their games. The 3rd game intermittently, but I did catch most of, if not all of, the first 2 games for Mexico, and I just don't think they're playing at the same level that Canada or Costa Rica are. So I'd be kind of surprised if they come out with a win. I bet it'll be chippy and exciting, but I'm not sure that they win. I think Canada wins that game, and then Costa Rica should walk all over Panama, I think. It is CONCACAF. Weird things happen in CONCACAF. But that'll decide who moves on. Our African countries were decided earlier this week. Tanzania and Morocco are going through to cover AFCON. Tanzania looked really good. I did not expect that. That's another thing I didn't expect from the games this week. And then we've got UEFA Champions League starting up soon too, tomorrow. So a lot of good stuff going on. If you guys aren't already in our Discord, make sure you go check it out. We'll post links there. I will be watching those games. I just can't live stream. I am on kid duty, and not only duty, but duty in the diapers probably too. So I will not be able to stream either of those games. We had a prior family commitment, and I'm on kid duty. So the final, though, I think it's at 5 on Sunday. I'm going to try and find a way to live stream that, and we can watch the final together. So if you guys are enjoying this, even though USA isn't in it, I will probably be live for the final, and we'll do a watch party for that. Birmingham brings up a good point. Asia is also in qualification next week. That starts in China, and we will see who qualifies with the Philippines from AFC. And I think that my predictions there, we'll see the usual suspects, Iran and Japan, end up on the podium. That's what I think. So that's an early prediction for you guys, for me there too. Just to write that down somewhere so you guys can call me out when I'm wrong later. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, even though the result wasn't the way that we had hoped. Stay tuned. I don't believe Third Half Podcast went live tonight like I expected. So I don't know if it got moved. I'll find out and I'll let you guys know. Join our Discord for notifications and live stream links. And if you guys want to chat about the semifinal games for CONCACAF there, I'll probably be able to chat there on the fly while I'm watching out of the corner of my eye. The game, not the kids, of course. I'll be watching the kids. Don't worry, guys. But yeah, we'll at least be able to chat there and build it up. I'll let you know if I see any other updates on Third Half Podcast. I know that they also plan to do 1, possibly 2 podcasts leading up to our first tour, which is going to be taking place on May 26th in May. We have all 6 teams identified. They'll be announced. They'll be announced next week. So keep an eye out for that too. Good things happening in U.S. futsal. We're trying to move the needle, guys. So stick with us. Keep supporting it. We see a valuable future here, and I'm really, really glad to be a part of it with you guys. Not only there, but here with the community we've built here on Futsal News. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. And you know what I'm going to say next. Until I see you next time, don't forget to play with your soul.